Hi there. This is just Windra, and I want to do an energy reading for you today because we have got a new moon coming up in Libra. And being a Libra, this is an important one for me, but it will be for everybody. So I want to also talk about some of the other planets that are involved as well, like Saturn and Pluto, and then Mars coming in, and so let's start with understanding Libra. Libra is the scales, okay? It holds two sides. It's always weighing things up. It's the scales, and within those scales, we're either sort of up here or down here. And what Libra strives for is balance, for those scales to be in equality. Okay, so that they come together into balance. It's very important for that Libran energy. We all have Libra somewhere in our charts. So depending on where Libra is in your chart is the area where you always strive for balance, where you always seek balance in your life. Sometimes you may feel quite balanced, but sometimes you may feel out of balance. It's all depending on where the scales are. And so I want to also bring in some techniques from yoga and get you to start working with the energies. So if you think about the scales and it's the two sides, you can think about yourself as the center, and then you got the two sides and they come together and you form like a lotus flower, and you bring that in front of your heart. And then you can just close your eyes and imagine coming into balance, coming into the center, and the two sides just balancing out, and you feeling that there is equality there. There is, because you see, when the scales are balanced, it's about feeling equality and justice, and because when the scales are unbalanced, we don't feel those things. Harmony, peace. Libra is also about feeling good about ourselves in terms of beauty. So, like art, fashion, all those things, makeup, things come into sort of like the sign of Libra because it's ruled by Venus. So when you can sort of really feel that, close your eyes and feel that balance in front of you with your hands, and you integrate it into your heart, and you just bring the hands together and you just put that there and feel it in your heart, and the coming together and you coming together into balance. Then what you're also doing is you're balancing. When you have got that sense of balance, you also then will understand and work on balancing the masculine and feminine, because we have the two sides of the brain, and they obviously go like that on our body. Okay, so the right side will rule the left side of the body, and the left side of the brain will rule the right side of the body. And so you have the masculine and you have the feminine, and it's where we have issues with whether we've got too much masculine or too much feminine, and when they don't feel balanced. And so you could do that exercise. Bring the wrists, the bottom of the hand, the wrists here together like that, and just hold it in front of your heart, and then just bring your fingers, so the little pinky and the thumb, and so you create like a circle, and you just hold that there in front of your heart. And you can even chant a mantra, whatever you feel, because different people have different mantras. But if you don't have one, you can just chant the Om or Vaheguru. But I feel kind of like the Om is a good one for this. And then just close your eyes and keep chanting that, and visualize, feel the two sides of you just coming together. They meet, where they meet, the cross point is in the neck here. So that's why I'm sort of like wearing my necklace there in my neck area. Okay, so like this, they cross over. And you know, whether we follow astrology, you know, or anything, everything is about energy. And when we break everything down, it's energy, and it's how we are utilizing that energy in our lives, and what is it that, you know, we need doing. So the planets obviously give us, they're there, you know, we can see the moon comes up every month, and the full moon, and then we get the new moon. You know, we can see the moon, it's there, all these things are there, so we know that they're there, they affect us. And the more we connect to them, you know, the more we can make our lives satisfying. Okay, so that is kind of like one of the exercises you can do in terms of the balance. So that's kind of like what I showed you. It's a mudra, and then what, you know, you also can bring into your awareness is, obviously, you know, it's the two sides I said, and then it's about your relationship with yourself. How do you see your relationship with yourself? Because how you see your relationship with yourself will to a greater extent give off, you know, how you are relating to other people. And, you know, whether you voice that or not, it will come through, it will show through. Relationships, you know, are important to everybody. So it starts with the relationship with ourselves, the I, you know, and it's important, you know. It's nothing to do with, you know, the ego. Sometimes we need some more ego, and so understanding your relationship with yourself is very, very paramount. Now, some of the other energies that are going into coming about, so because of this Libra new moon, one of the things that I want to mention is that Saturn and Pluto, they've been kind of going retrograde, and that's kind of like where they, you know, appear to go backwards. But what that allows us to do is it allows us to focus our energies inwards and go over things that we might have missed, detail that we haven't seen, we missed, things we need to catch up with, we need to process. And then when we've done that, the planets, when they station to go direct again, it's like we're moving forward again. So these two planets, Saturn and Pluto, are now going direct, and very important, these two planets. They are the outer planets, so they affect everybody, generational, global. With the Pluto, it's global issues, you know, all around the world, things coming to the surface. Now, we've also got Mercury and Venus that will be going into Scorpio. So, you know, from Libra, they will actually go into Scorpio in early October. Now, with those two planets there, obviously Mercury is to do with communication, and Venus, which is the ruler of Libra, is all about fairness, equality, because Venus rules Libra, but it also rules Taurus, but the rulership of Venus is very different in Taurus than it is to Libra. So in Libra, it becomes very much about fairness, equality, what is unjust in the world. So we're going to, and the Mercury there, it's our communication. We know there is so much wrong that is going on in the world, or appears to be wrong. And it's like our relationship to all of that, to the earth. Venus is the goddess. The goddess is the earth. And all goddesses are the earth, It's the earth that we live on, our connection. Again, the relationship to the earth. And, our planet, it's very important with what's going on. With the countries, with the leaders. Saturn is very much about the leadership, the planning. So all of this plays, whether we want it to or not, it does play a very big part in our lives. And this is actually a very powerful time for everybody, because Saturn and Pluto are there, with the South Node. So a lot of past stuff, now when we talk about past, it's not just our past, because it's our relationship. It's the relationships with everything. So it's our past and our past generations and ancestors. They will come into that. And so this is why I thought, in terms of the whole energy reading, Mercury is going to be moving into Scorpio. And Scorpio is like the sign of, the dark, hidden depths. It's the investigation. It's like the detective. It's, going to the depths where, like if you imagine sort of like a well that goes really deep and digging deep, deep, deep. So the mind, Mercury, the mind, it will want to delve deep. So it could be that some of you may, in terms of your own relationship with yourself and moving forward, you may want to link in more to find answers about your relationship with yourself. The answers might be in things to do with your ancestors. So, that is the Mercury communicating into the depths, okay? And the Pluto, it's all about transformation. Pluto is also about endings and beginnings and rebirth, but it's kind of like how we transform our lives. So Pluto, you can look at it as helping us to transform. It's also about how you might be going with the Mercury, sort of thinking about the process and wanting to do the sort of detective work, and then going into the dark parts of ourself, our psyche, which is Pluto, that you may never ever have thought of, that you may never have thought that you would go there. And so obviously with Venus, that is going to be moving from Libra and going into Scorpio around about the same time. It will be a love of wanting to do this, a love of creating a better self, a love of having a better relationship and relationships. Okay. So the past plays a big role in this, because obviously the South Node is connected as well. And so, there's lots of karmic issues that will spring up. There is also obviously the North Node, which is in Cancer, And so that, where is that shifting us to? In terms of our relationship, it's shifting us to being, more in touch with our emotions. So it could be that the process that we're going through is going, into the depths to find out parts of ourselves that helps us to connect better, to be more sort of emotionally aware of everything about us and other people around us. It's also about being sensitive, sensitivity and caring. The home, where is your home? What do you consider home? Do you have a home? Obviously that exercise that we did, they say home is where the heart is. So we're coming back to the heart. But whatever way, you might want to move, you might want to create a better home, because Cancer does rule the home as well, and family life. Is there changes going on in your family? Are the changes in your family life changing your relationship with yourself? It definitely is for me, because when I was thinking about this energy reading and thinking about the planets that are at play here, I actually was thinking about the Pluto and the Saturn, because I'm coming up for another Saturn return soon. So it took me back to my first Saturn return, and the Pluto was playing a big part at the time, and the South Node. So all this was, happening, and the relation. So I had a child, but I also had other children around me as well. And so that's the Cancer. I was creating this home, this family life, not just for my child, but some other children around me that needed that. And so it was important for me. But I also was going through my own trauma, a huge trauma at the time. And so I've come round full circle, because those children have all grown up now, and it's like I'm reassessing again my whole situation, my life, and my this next phase, of the relationship with myself and the changes. So, the new directions, because again, with Mercury and Saturn, that's kind of communicating, the new directions. So a lot of, what is going on is very powerful, but link it into, what has gone on for you before. And, sometimes you have to go back many years. It's not just the past, sort of recent past. It could be, going back 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, going back past lives even, and going back to, as I said earlier, your ancestors. All of this plays a very big part about who you are and your relationship with yourself, okay? And remember, I said, go back to the I, because Libra is the opposite sign to Aries, and Aries is very much about me and I, and although it's very inspirational as well. But Libra always wants to, because it's the scales and it's about the two, always wants to be with, in a pair. And it's because, usually they're trying to find themselves through other people. So that can be the case, but it's about finding out who you are first. That's what I was trying to refer to in terms of the I, going back to, who you truly are, your authentic self. Okay, So I am a therapist, and I do astrology, birth chart readings, and I do yoga, and I try and combine all of these things. So, you know, like for example, I do a yoga session and I combine with what's going on with the moon or other things, and I try and I'm a hypnotherapist as well and a psychotherapist, and so you know I combine all of this because in my yoga class I might be doing certain movements, but I'm also giving out suggestions that are helping them in terms of empowering and understanding. It's not just about doing, you know, certain movements. It's the whole meaning and reason behind it. So if you want to book with me for a one-to-one, I can do Skype sessions. I can look at your chart. I can do a what I call a hypno-shamanic session, and take you to a journeying process. And so, you know, yeah, contact me, have a chat and see if I can help you, see if I can be of any help. And, you know, who knows, let's see where it goes, where it can take you. But I hope you've enjoyed the reading, and I will put the links on below. And yeah, have a good month, and hopefully I will be back with another energy reading very soon. There's quite a lot going on, as I said, planetary wise, so I'm looking to do quite a few of these. Sunday also is a very important day, but I'll do another video on that. So have a great month, have a great day, and see you soon. Bye.